All right, my free thinking friends, how are you doing? This one is going to ruffle some feathers, I guarantee it, but what the hell are we here for anyway? Let's go. You see, there's 8 characteristics or 8 hallmarks of a cult. 8 things that we can look at that tell us whether or not a person or an entity is interested in helping you think freely, is interested in your freedom, or as much control as possible. That's the topic of this video today. Is the Democratic Party a cult? Those people who are shouting at the top of their lungs in the streets that they're interested in the best for everyone. And after I explore these 8 hallmarks of a cult, comparing it to the Democratic Party, I want you to tell me in the comments, do you think the Democratic Party is a cult or not? Let's dive in. All right, hallmark number 1, a charismatic leader that cannot be questioned and is going to save you. Now, the current circumstances of the Democratic Party, Mr. Joe Biden leading it, I wouldn't say he's exactly charismatic. However, charisma is relative. Charisma is found by the listener, the person receiving the act or the leadership. So some of the special interest things, some of the things that Joe Biden addresses are attractive to some people, and that would make him charismatic to them. But you know, as of late, watching him being pulled off stage by Barack Obama at a charity event, seemingly to not have any idea what's going on, I don't know that this exactly applies in the moment. Take a look. Yeah, not exactly the kind of charisma that gives me all the confidence in the world that he's going to lead me or save me. However, the way that these political parties work, and they've been around forever, and their pockets are so deep that it's one person after another. It's just whoever's standing in that position at the moment may or may not be the most charismatic. If you think about Barack Obama, who's guiding him off stage, one of the most charismatic leaders that I've ever witnessed in the history of the United States, I would say, and the promise that he's going to save us all. And this is the promise, that's the thing, is each person that's in this position is just another, there isn't much difference. And each one of them is promising that they're going to save us from the world. They're going to save us from all the injustices that exist. So in this case, yeah, I think there is always a leader that is charismatic and can't be questioned. Speaking of not being able to question, the next hallmark is ideological purity. This is ideological ideas or dogma that can't be questioned. And when you do question it, it comes with social shaming or consequences and punishment. So the question is does the Democratic Party actually do this? Do they have a dogma that you cannot question? Well, you don't have to look very far, but their very own leader, Lyndon Johnson, when he said, you know the difference between cannibals and liberals? Cannibals only eat their enemies. Of course, Lyndon Johnson is talking about the severe prices you pay as a Democrat if you question any of the ideological ideas that they put forward. If you have any dissenting ideas, that can be social suicide as an upright and outstanding Democrat. And the latest, most favorite trend to put you in an out group if you dissent to any of the ideas or you don't agree with every dogmatic idea of the Democratic Party is to label you, is to attack your character by calling you a bigot or a denier. If they can put those labels on you, then they're both working to shame you for not falling in line and to show everybody else this is not one of us. So does ideological purity exist amongst the Democratic Party? Now, I'll let you decide. Okay, the third hallmark of a cult, conformity and control. Trying to control what you wear, what you eat, who you love, how you spend your money, pretty much every aspect of your life. This is one place that I think the Democratic Party promotes the most freedom of thinking. However, as long as you're using your freedom of thought to think what they want you to think. Because there are certain social norms and expectations that if you were to not follow, and dare I say, being a straight white American male, my Dem cred is pretty low on the totem pole right now. So is conformity and control over your life a part of the tenet of the Democratic Party? This one's up in the air. All right, hallmark of a cult number 4, mind-altering practices, meditation, chanting, or mind-altering drugs, illicit drugs that would change your perspective or make you vulnerable to changing your perspective. I don't see a lot of evidence for this in the Democratic Party, or maybe, just maybe they've snuck something into all the blue hair dye that makes you attracted to Joe Biden's mumbling and his sexy silver foxness. Okay, hallmark number 5 of a cult is isolation, encouraging you to not have any relationships or association with those that are not in the group, especially those who have strong ideas or feelings about the group. Now, I don't know that anybody in the Democratic Party, I'm sure there has been some, but it's not a general idea that you need to ditch your family and friends who aren't Democratic. However, they do try to control the narrative as much as possible so that the ideas that are counter to the Democratic ideas can't be heard. Some of the attempts to control the narrative and the ideas out there has shown up as censorship. And they can call these ideas damaging to other people in order to make it a moral issue. To illustrate this point, check out this article. A Pew Research poll released Thursday found that 70% of Democrats think the government should restrict what appears on social media, a dramatic change from 5 years ago, when a majority of Democrats supported a free marketplace of ideas. Democrats are becoming a censorship party. Millions of American voices have been silenced in violation of the First Amendment, Sewer said. He cited some 18,000 communications from Team Biden to tech executives orchestrating a vast ongoing censorship operation. Yet Democratic lawmakers were unfazed by this shocking evidence and hardly questioned the witness. The U.S. Constitution and the future of our democracy be damned. And you know it's reputable. You know this is a reputable site when one of the trending posts is, men are raw dogging it on flights. Here's what the weird travel trend means. But seriously, any attempt to control the ideas that come to the marketplace is obviously a grasp for control, not an attempt to get people to think for themselves. Hallmark number 6 of a cult. Creating an us versus them mentality. It's us versus them. We have the truth. We are right. We have insight that most don't, and they are the enemy. I don't need to say much here, right? I mean, the whole two-party system, the whole political system is set up on this us versus them type of system. As proof, just the other day, Biden released his campaign ad. Let's check it out.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So just notice, isn't it interesting that this ad says nothing about the challenges our country is facing, nothing about how he's going to solve some of those challenges, and 90%, 80% of it, 80 to 90% of it is about an us versus them. Look how bad they are. Look how good and virtuous we are. This, my friends, is perfection when we think about the us versus them mentality. Hallmark number 7, apocalyptic thinking. This is the preparation for a supposed apocalypse or a cataclysmic, is that right? Cataclysmic event, an attempt for manipulation or control. Enter global warming, climate change. Now, I am not putting out an opinion in this video whatsoever of whether or not climate control or climate control. Yeah, your air conditioning, is that real? Is your air conditioning real? I'm not saying whether or not climate change is real or not. I'm just saying the way that the Democratic Party uses climate change to scare you and control your actions for your vote and your money, well, I mean, there seems to be a lot of evidence for that. It's not about whether or not the apocalyptic event is going to happen. It's how people use it to instill fear in you and gain the control that they so badly want. So in this one, think about, is the way that the Democratic Party talks about global warming, is it inviting you to think more freely, to learn for yourself, or is it inviting you to just believe them, give them the control, believe that they have the solution, and give all of your resources and ideas and thoughts and devotion to them? I'll let you decide. Okay, number 8, hallmark of a cult: the expectation of all resources, time, energy, and money. It's expected that you dedicate huge amounts of your resources to this organization. And what's interesting about the way that the Democratic Party presents themselves is I actually think it's the exact opposite of this. Because what they're saying is if you just vote for us, don't worry, we'll take care of everything for you. You just vote for us, and then you just go about your day doing your thing. Go to your job, play your video games, watch your television. Don't worry, we will take care of you. That's what it looks like on the surface. However, if you happen to get somewhat wealthy, out there running your business or doing your job, well, you're going to pay big time. And when we're not paying attention to what's going on, when we're invited to not be a part of it, to just vote and then be taken care of, ultimately, we don't know what the price is going to be down the road. We don't know what is going to be required of us by that ideology or that dogma later on down the road. It's short-term gain with potential long-term pain. So my free-thinking friends, that is the 8 hallmarks of a cult as compared to the Democratic Party. I want to know, what do you think? Is the Democratic Party, as a party, as an organization, is it a cult? Tell me in the comments if you think it is or not, and tell me why. Let the conversation commence. And after that, watch this video right here. And remember, the greatest war to be fought is to maintain our freedom of thought. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.